Welcome to the Boating News Show, brought to you by Powerboat and RIB Magazine. Coming up, we have yet another amazing giveaway prize, announce the winner of this awesome Icom VHF, and we put an offshore race boat through its paces, as well as obviously look through this week's news from the world of boating. Firstly though, a shout out to the awesome guys and girls at MDL Marinas, the UK's largest marina operator, who are sponsoring this show. We'll hear more about these guys later, so for now, let's start this week's show. So this week in the world of boating news, we learnt that Cornish company Cockwells Modern and Classic Boat Building have continued to expand by acquiring Hardy Marine. Cockwells are also the originators of Dutchy motor yachts, or motor launches I should say. A semi-production brand that echoes the classical designs of the gentleman's launch of generations past. Those beautiful, stunning craft are superbly built, while Cockwell's Mylor Creek Boatyard is fully equipped to offer refits, restorations and engineering services for local yachts and super yacht tenders from all over the world. When chatting to Dave Cockwell, he explained that both Cockwells and Hardy are committed to building motor boats that deliver style, reliability, customization, and all the advantages that technological advances can supply. That they plan to build on the seakeeping and styling of the Hardy brand and introduce Dutchy-like finesse to some of the fittings and cutting-edge super yacht technology. Well, Cockwell's purchase of Hardy Marine is no doubt going to create some jobs, and Julian Weatherall from Hardy has been appointed in the position of sales manager in order to sustain that continuity within the brand. If you haven't heard of Cockwells before, and maybe it's a new brand to you, hopefully you've heard also of Hardy, but either way, jump onto cockwells.co.uk and you'll find out everything about the brand there. Now, talking about the next brand, the future is green for this one. The UK's longest standing rib builder. Who could I be talking about there? Well, of course, it's Humber Ribs. They have just supplied the first of a multiple order of 9-metre offshore craft to a marine system protection company that specialises in the global propagation and farming of seaweed and algae. Now, why is this of any news? Well, the ribs will be used to further research for the growing demand for energy, nutrition, and more sympathetic uses of the environment and its natural resources. Processes that are involved in the sustainable cultivation and maintenance of our planet's marine biosystems. Seaweed and algae process CO2 and in turn release vital oxygen back into the atmosphere. We all know that. Well, marine plant life of this kind also filters and cleans our seas, helping to promote local biodiversity and a rich ecosystem around it. Now, Andrew Roffey is a really old friend of PBR, and they have always consistently built fantastic craft. And when chatting to him, he said that they were proud to be assisting with such an environmentally proactive operation and hope as a company to continue supporting the industry in this field. That seaweed farming is expected to become a significant new market, not only in Europe, but globally too. An industry that is currently taking its lead from the Asian market, where considerable progress is already being made. Now, if you're new to boating, maybe you haven't heard of Humber, then jump on to humberribs.co.uk, or they also have another domain, which is ribworld.co.uk. Easy domain to remember. Now, another company that has been taking the UK market by storm over the last few years, spearheaded by Mark Pullinger, formerly of Yamaha UK, is Selva Marine. Since his company took on the brand, they have been establishing a really good dealer network and brand presence here in the UK, and their market share has been consistently growing, and rightly so, because they are great products and a superb engineering firm also. However, there is more news from this stable. Selva Marine have announced a range of new outboard models designed to fill the last gaps in the company's four-stroke lineup, from 2.5 horsepower to 300. The new 200 XSR has improved out-of-the-hole acceleration and mid-range torque, and a sharper throttle response compared to the older 200 model. In addition, the newly modelled 225 and 250 4.2 litre V6 engines combine the high torque guaranteed by the V6 configuration and a generous displacement of 4,169 cc with direct acting variable cam timing and drive-by-wire electronic controls. Yes, Selva have also announced a new rib partnership with Vanguard Ribs across Europe, offering many new Selva package opportunities. But that's not all from Selva. Among other news at Selva Marine, the company has also announced an all-new 7-metre craft designed to combine style, comfort and functionality. They are also giving their sub-6-metre GRP craft a revamp and updated looks as well, and they're a really well-proven model range for Selva. For further information regarding the new developments at Selva, this can all be found if you jump on to selvamarine.com. Now, Shackleton and Scott are well-known household names for those who know even the slightest bit about the sea, adventure and human endeavour. Well, these names are heading back to the Antarctic. Raffner UK Limited have announced not only one, but two Raffner 850 support boats for a well-known 77-metre Explorer yacht. Now, Raffner have that really unique hull that glues itself to the water almost, and it means that you have no slamming because it just rides through the sea, and it's quite a weird boat to helm, but once you get used to it, it can kind of annihilate anything in its path. Aptly named Shackleton and Scott, these two craft are fitted with the state-of-the-art networked electronics that relay detailed information back to the mothership. They have a centre console layout fitted also with Ullman jockey seats and a removable bench seat for 11 passengers. The boats can perform multiple roles, from transporting guests to carrying supplies. Folding rear benches make for easy storage, with both craft coming with sort of custom folding chocks for quick launch and recovery. The two boats, whose Raffner hull significantly minimises damaging effects of wave slamming impacts, are each rigged with a single Volvo Penta D6 440. This is a wonderful pairing on DPI drives, offering a comfortable cruising speed of around about 30 knots and a top speed in the region of around 40 knots in most weather. It's really important to note that the Raffner is not really about speed, it's about seakeeping. So with a 440 knot sort of speed, that is more than ample for a support craft that is an all-weather vessel. For further details, they can be found at raffner.co.uk. Now, we mentioned Suzuki a few weeks ago with the launch of two new engines in their mid-size lineup. However, they haven't stopped there on development. Suzuki has made an engineering move to tackle microplastics. We talked about Humber being green earlier. Well, we're continuing that theme for a moment before we get onto very petrolhead related subjects. Suzuki Motor Corporation have developed a microplastic collecting device for installation on outboard motors. Through this device, microplastic waste can be collected just by running the engine. The device can be easily installed and does not affect the engine's performance, since it only utilises the returning water that has already been used to cool the engine. Suzuki plan to introduce the device as an option on the 2021 model lineup and incorporate it as a standard feature, hopefully in the future. When chatting to Mark Bealey, the head of Marine and ATV at Suzuki GB, he mentioned that this was the first time that an outboard motor cooling system had been utilised to extract microplastics from the seawater, and that they were incredibly excited by this announcement for this incredible development that's really going to help the planet for their little bit in the marine industry. Now, this is obviously continuing Suzuki's determination to devise innovative solutions that mitigate the serious impact of plastic waste on our natural environment. And this is such a positive move. And if other manufacturers can do the same, then it's going to really make a big difference across the marine world globally. Now, this week's talking topic is all about high performance boating. So a couple of weeks ago, I drove down to MDL's Hamble Point Marina to show you what the cockpit of a championship winning offshore racer is all about. Have a look at this video and let us know in the comments what you think.
So have you been on a really high performance powerboat, maybe something like a fast rib with twin 300s or a big Axopar Brabus Shadow 500 or something like that? Well, those are very capable boats, capable of sort of 50, 60 knots and a great riot to be on. However, those boats that can sometimes top out at about 60 miles an hour are nothing like an offshore powerboat. This boat is from Quantum Racing, has won a world championship and holds many different records to its name, has even raced in India. And we're going to today be putting this boat through its paces to show you what the difference is between an offshore racing hull and a performance powerboat that's for the leisure market. This is powered by a 300 horsepower Evinrude E-Tech HO. Now you may think, oh, I've got two 300s on the back of my big rib or something like that. Well, this is finely tuned. It has a racing propeller, a stepped hull, lightweight construction, bow ballast tank. The whole boat is set up and finely tuned to go to that nth degree and really, obviously, win races. So this boat has been rigged by John Donnelly and also the guys at PowerTech in Hayling Island, and is really a masterpiece of pedigree. These guys have raced on the circuit for a long time now and are very, very experienced. So this boat is the result of all of that knowledge put into one hull. I have the lucky privilege of being able to put this boat through its paces and show you what it's like to be in the cockpit of a race boat.
So I've been able to spend over half of my life racing offshore powerboats, and I can tell you that it's a very different environment here than in a very high performance offshore rib or hard boat. The difference being that even though those boats could probably do 50, 60 knots plus, to be able to sustain that over say a 100-mile course is a very different kettle of fish. Ergonomically within the cockpit you have a very different setup. So traditionally you'll have a two-man crew, and that will then split the roles of the boat and how she runs. This is because there's a lot going on in a cockpit. You have many boats around you, all fighting for position. You also have a long course, so in the case of Eucopra, you'll have a 100-mile course, or something like Cowes Torquay, you're actually racing for a full day on a 200-mile leg. So you need to be able to be a good navigator, control your boat, and also fight for position for those really important points. Within the cockpit, it's very driver and navigator focused, and it divides the roles across port and starboard of the boat. On the driver's side, you have a traditional hydraulic helm. However, that is paired to two stalks on either side of the helm, which enable you to be able to trim the boat and also adjust the hydraulic drag plate. That enables the engine to move up and down rather than just out like a traditional trim of an engine, and that creates a different 6-inch parameter on being able to run the outboard in different setups. So if it's a rougher day, you may run the engine lower, have more grip and more bite. If it's a faster day where you're running a calmer sea or something like a record attempt at Coniston, you're going to run that lifter all the way to the top to reduce drag and have that optimum setup where you're still getting water pressure but as least drag and efficiency over the propeller and gear case as possible. Then you have in your driver setup a foot throttle. In this boat you have the electronic foot throttle for the HO outboard, but in other boats you'll split the throttle. So my role was traditionally a throttle man, so I would run the throttles and I'd run the navigation on one side, telling the driver the heading to steer. In this boat, the whole driving experience is done on the starboard side here on the helm. So you have the foot throttle, you have your stalks, you have your steering wheel, and then ahead you have your engine dials with the Evinrude electronic gauges. You also have a lift plate gauge which tells you what height your engine is running at. Then to your left, to the central part of the boat, you have a compass which gives the driver a course to steer, taking obviously direction from the navigator. On the navigator's side you have a Garmin multifunctional display which gives you an overall of a chart of where you are, a heading of course to steer. It will have various different information that you need. So for example, if you break down on a race course, it has your longitude and latitude to be able to tell safety control, but then you also have a good printout. So here we have that Kevin has printed out and laminated the course notes for the day. That enables you to have a course overview, to have a quick sheet to be able to quickly look at where you're going, but it also gives you a running order of all the different turn buoys. Should your electronics fail, like your GPS, you can then have a rough idea of where you're going, your course to steer still in a manual printout and a reference sheet to be able to still continue on and carry on with your race. And that's happened to me in the middle of Lyme Bay on Cowes Torquay. My screens have frozen and we've enabled to have a couple of notes hand drawn with a permanent marker on the dash, and we know the course to steer to get us to that next turn marker before everything then lights back up. You also then have an Icom VHF, one of the most reliable brands in the industry, and that is then also paired up with a motorsport product intercom system which allows you to be able to hear each other within your comms on your helmets. These bucket seats have got fantastic upholstery on them, however they also have a real purpose. Not only have they got suspension within the bucket seat, but they also have these arms here, which once you have your helmet on, also help with whiplash and to help you stay secure in the boat. Should the craft flip or hook, you're going to be able to have a lot more protection with your head within this type of system. You also then have your hand throttle control. This is mainly for marine operation on this boat, and then it has an electronic setup to be able to then switch to your foot throttle. Other than that, it's pretty basic because the more weight and the more kit that you have on board here, the slower you're going to go. So everything here is purposeful and ready to go fast. The navigator's position, if their comms should fail, will then give hand directions very, very simply, forward, left a bit, come a little bit more, etc., to be able to give the driver good direction, especially letting him know about the other boats in the area. If they're fighting for position into a corner, often the navigator's position on the inside will be to tell the driver if it's safe to turn or not. So therefore they'll give direction whether to keep on that course or that it's safe to turn, enabling you to dogfight in and fight for position. You have a good windscreen forward to be able to take the spray over the nose and pass that over your helmet. And then other than that, it's time to get comfy, hunker down for a 100-mile race and hopefully come out on top.
Well, thank you to Kevin Burdock and his team for granting us permission to jump on board and get amongst his boat for the day. It was a really good thrill to get amongst that boat. Now, we announced that Max Bushell was the winner of last week's dry bag, and we're sending that out this week. We also have a new winner for the M25 VHF, and that is Ian R. Cav from YouTube. Congratulations, Ian, on winning the handheld VHF. Now, each time that we select a winner, it goes through an engine where we put all the names in and it comes out with a bot and it chooses the name. However, additionally, we want to have a runner-up prize, which is a free printed version subscription of the magazine for 12 months, chosen on the basis of the best comment or something that makes the PBR team laugh when putting the entries into the online generator. This week, Nick S from YouTube has won this with his comment regarding the Icom prize, stating that he should have won the Icom radio so that he could have replaced his horrible Standard Horizon handheld VHF that is forever misting up. Icom makes much better quality radios, apparently. Well, anyway, we thought that we'd give you a copy of PBR, and it's got plenty of technical articles throughout the 12 months and different equipment reviews. So if you need a unit and your other one is on its way out, then you'll be able to choose the right version for you. If you haven't won, do not fear, for Powerboat and RIB are here with yet another giveaway. A couple of weeks ago, we highlighted Scanstra as a great marine company that goes from strength to strength, who has released a series of different waterproof USB and wireless charging units for your phone while on board. We've teamed up with the Exeter-based team to offer this week's prize, which we think that you'll really find enjoyable and come in handy on your boat. The Scanstra Rock Wireless Active, the world's first waterproof 24-volt wireless charging phone mount, is awesome, and it just rigs into your console and looks perfect. The Active securely holds and wirelessly charges your phone even in the toughest conditions. Now you can keep your phone in reach, fully charged and ready to go. The high grip self-aligning jaws ensure your phone is held tightly and in optimum charging position every time. And this has been rigged on a range of like high performance Sunseekers like the Sunseeker Hawk and a lot of different high performance boats, and they've all kept the phone really secure and charging. It features the QI certified wireless charging technology and a smart LED that indicates when your phone is charging. Throw in foreign object detection and thermal cutoff and you're guaranteed safe, reliable charging in all environments. Compatible with wireless charging enabled phones of all sizes from all kind of brands, including obviously Samsung, Apple and many more. Then charging is also possible through non-metallic waterproof cases as well. So whatever your phone, as long as it's got wireless charging enabled, this hopefully should work for you. This prize is worth around £140. And it makes a great addition to your boat console, maybe in time for some winter tune-ups and little rigging changes that you may do over the off-season. So to enter, all you need to do is like this video, comment why you should win, and hit that subscribe button. Remember, you need to do all three to have a valid entry. But for such a cool prize, it's well worth it. That's it for now. Thank you for watching this weekly news show concept from Powerboat and RIB. We'll see you again next week, and a massive thank you to MDL Mariners who have sponsored this show. When it comes to successful marina operations, MDL offers incredible experience and expertise. Established in 1973, they are now the UK's leading marina and water-based leisure provider and one of Europe's largest marina groups, currently operating 20 major marinas and boatyards, which are home to over 7,000 berths. They have also added 2 idyllic holiday parks to their collection, providing the perfect getaway by the water. And we have a video of that coming up soon. To find out more about MDL, then head over to their website at mdlmarinas.co.uk, and we will see you next week.